You want to kind of manage it in a way that the player keeps coming back. He has a good experience. He has some money to play. Maybe he wins like a month or two, but it's fine. You still want him to play with you for many years, and this is why at Pinnacle we have players from recently I saw like an affiliate player from 2007, and I was like, wow, the affiliate is like no longer active, but the player came and he stayed and he still uses Pinnacle actively.
You're listening to 15M Mastery, a show that empowers you with insights from the leading iGaming experts to enhance your personal or business performance. The show is brought to you by tech-driven affiliate and media company Already Media, and supported by the AI-powered data analytics platform Blask. And Yo Investments, a fund manager investing in outstanding people who are disrupting the iGaming, fintech, and crypto industries. Hey everyone, and welcome back to 15M Mastery. Today, we're joined by Phil Kornyshev, Head of Commercial at Pinnacle. Phil is an expert at growing betting and casino brands. He's an expert in player acquisition and retention, most importantly for this episode. We will explore what makes sharp bookmakers successful and why players choose them. Welcome back, Phil.
Thank you, Dima. Glad to be here again.
Awesome. Let's dive in. What's the biggest misconception industry people still have about sharp bookmakers?
I think the biggest misconception is that they are not good enough to play at a sharp bookmaker, that you need to be professional, you need to be a sophisticated bettor, you need to be actually really, really good. That's why they try to go to a soft bookmaker first, thinking they can learn. It's really not true, because the sharp bookmaker is actually the better place to learn, because you understand more about odds, about line movements, about kind of how to manage your bank. And basically, you don't have all this fluff in the face of bonuses and bells and whistles to kind of distract you and to you keep your eye on the ball more in sharp bookmakers. I think that's the biggest one.
You mentioned a few very interesting items, but I think I remember once talking with you. You mentioned probably low margins is also like one of the key items why this whole concept works, and also probably the most important for sharp and winning players is actually withdrawal limits. So why do you think, players choose bookmakers like Pinnacle first and foremost if we're not looking at the margins or withdrawals?
Yeah. I think two kinds of limits are important here: withdrawal limits and bet limits. I think in general, sharp players are just looking for a really good all-around experience where as soon as they start, the bookmaker can proactively identify them, make them a VIP, increase their betting limits, increase their overall limits, because that comes with being a VIP. And Pinnacle is one of the only, if not the only, bookmaker which gives competitive odds compared to exchanges. So it's kind of a good fit for sharp players who find us, who don't need, as I said, bells and whistles, who don't need this fluff, who just want to bet, and they kind of know what they're doing. I know this contradicted a bit with what I previously said about new players and not being good enough, but you do need to kind of have a basic understanding before you join a sharp bookmaker. Otherwise, you can get lost a bit. But by no means you need to be a professional.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. But how does offering like genuinely high limits change better behavior compared with the limit-heavy approach of any other mainstream bookies?
I think once we identify, we usually... we're very proactive. We're not reactive. So when we have a really good player, we make sure that he can bet the amount he wants on the games he wants, withdraw when he wants, because they love to withdraw a huge amount and put it back in just to see how legit the bookmaker is. So what this does, it basically helps prevent churn in a very good way and make sure that this player keeps coming back, because I think you had really interesting passage in your email about kind of not squeezing every cent out of the player and leaving them some bank to come back, because if they lose everything, they go away, and so on. So it's a bit like this, that you want to kind of manage it in a way that the player keeps coming back. He has a good experience. He has some money to play. Maybe he wins maybe like a month or two, but it's fine. Like you still want him to play with you for many years, and this is why at Pinnacle we have players from recently I saw like an affiliate player from 2007, and I was like, wow, the affiliate is like no longer active, but the player came and he stayed and he still uses Pinnacle actively.
Yeah, that's truly fascinating. And as an affiliate who's in action like all the way back since the beginning of 2000, I think 14, 12 something. I still remember Pinnacle brand back then, and I was also one of the affiliates, and still feeling like super loyal to a brand. So let's talk a little bit more about VIPs, because I think VIPs and player retention is probably one of the key pieces of the strategy of any bookmaker. So when a high stake player or a VIP lands at Pinnacle, what specific signals convince them that they found the right home?
Yeah, this is a good question. In general, what we want to do is not bombard him with marketing emails. Be very, very prudent about what we send him, because our players don't like to be bothered much. So we just kind of be invisible around him and let him cook. Basically, we resolve all his issues. If he has some trading disputes, because sharp players, they love to bet live, they love to bet like lower leagues, and usually there's a high chance of regradings, some kind of the things around that. So we usually, if something happens and it's like not in his favor, we kind of give him a nice surprise, etc., to make sure he is happy and he has a good experience, because these guys, we know they have accounts in several other books. They check the odds before the game. They chose Pinnacle because they like the odds for some reason. And we know he chose us because he has his strategy, his plan for the game. Because, there are sites which actually monitor Pinnacle odds, and when they drop, that's a signal for them to go bet at the other book. It means the other book is like behind in their odds. So our guys, they use actually quite a bit of these, and they use all these ARB services, so that they have like a plan in mind, right? That they don't just come in and randomly bet. They have a strategy, and our goal is to kind of enable them to make sure that they follow through with this strategy.
Yeah, I really like it. So let's talk a little bit more about the other side of the business, because business of sharp bookies like you guys, and obviously Pinnacle is probably the world's best and the largest, is very fascinating for the rest of the industry, like for people who work in the industry. So let's dive into two very specific questions about the way your business actually operates. So let's say if someone wants to implement something very similar to what you guys do, like which two non-cash benefits you think matter the most to any of the elite players out there, and how anyone, like any operator, can implement them without like a full business overhaul?
This is a very interesting question. Non-cash benefits is very hard actually to implement if you don't have the proper line in place, if you don't have the proper controls in place. But I would say the main ones, experience-wise, what you want to do is create for the player an interesting experience and an interesting journey, because without your own lines, without the Pinnacle lines, to some extent, you're probably not going to become a sharp bookmaker, and neither should you. But you can, through various tools, improve your trading, improve your betting to a point that it's actually competitive, and players feel great around it. But to me, it seems actually. I know you said non-cash, but the whole concept of offering things and rewards at the start of their journey, I don't like it. Instead of offering reload bonuses, we actually offer volume commission, volume cashback. No matter if they win or lose, it's from a volume, and they still get it at the end of the month, fulfilling certain thresholds. So this kind of, in a way, makes them keep their activity on a very good, stable level, instead of just receiving the bonus, depositing, losing, and going to hunt for another bonuses. So this is a cash one. For the non-cash one, I think it's just about the experience and proactively looking at the player and fine-tuning the controls for them to make sure they have a good time. Betting limits. We look at this proactively. We increase when we see there is value there. We never increase when they ask, because there is a market for Pinnacle accounts. They buy and sell them, and usually when they have some VIP bonuses or higher limits, they go on and sell them because there's good demand. So we kind of overall, we try to be invisible, not to bother them, or like with email, go bet this, because they already know when the next game is up, what the odds are. They just need kind of like a no bells and whistles place to bet, and that's what we try to be. That's what we should be. We're not trying to be anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love it, and it feels like everything you just saying. It's like if you draw a table like usual bookie and you guys, it's like a lot of the things you do like completely the opposite. Because if you register somewhere, like as you said, you're gonna be immediately bombarded with emails, with offers, reload bonuses, whatever. So I really like what you said about everyone who's betting. They know when the best team is playing next. Like they don't need a reminder, right? So I totally agree with you here.
Well, we tried what you said, kind of an experiment, and we felt the players that register with us, they expect a certain kind of a level of service. They don't expect to be, told when the next game is, or send some excessive marketing communication. They just unsubscribe. So we try to, no matter, even if we try to be like that, we can, because our brand is what it is. And the players already, before they register, they read about us, of course, in communities. There are huge Reddits, Discords, Telegram groups, and actually our best kind of referral is word of mouth. So we checked with our VIPs, and we have by far the largest percentage of them saying, I was recommended to you by a friend. So this is what we try to maintain. We try to make sure they recommend them to their friends.
Well, yeah, that's truly powerful. I think the last question for today is like the operational model itself, because, as far as I understood, the margins are quite low, like under 3% or something like that. And where does the profit actually come from, and what keeps the sharp model sustainable over the time for you guys?
The profit comes from these 3% and the super high volume associated with it, especially for big events, World Cups, this current club FIFA Championship is getting a lot of good attention. I think it's just about what I mentioned before. making sure the player is sustainable and he has a budget and balance to play, and basically he can win 1 month, 2 months, it's fine. He can have good months, bad months, but with this kind of product centric and not bonus centric approach, essentially they don't churn from us nearly as much as they do in other bookmakers. So this kind of compensates for the low margin. So we earn less immediately, but we are playing the long game. We have actives who are suddenly coming back, who we reactivate. So I would say we're playing the long game. We're not focused on a short-term profit of 10% margin and kind of getting as much as we can and this bite and run mentality. We want as much good players playing with us over the years as we can.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it feels like the way you explained it, it's actually the most sustainable model of them all, right? Because you can acquire as many players as you want, and if no one stays, tomorrow you don't have a business. And it seems to be quite an opposite for you guys. And congrats with that. It's very hard to achieve. And this VIP loyalty example, which you mentioned, is truly magnetizing. Congrats.
Thank you. Trying.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Phil. I really appreciate you sharing these insights and about your business model and the Sharp Bookmaker model overall. I think our listeners will definitely learn a lot from your experience at Pinnacle. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dima.